Hello, 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 everybody. I'm going to wait just a second here, see if anybody pops on, and then we'll get started. If you are here, then you can always welcome. This is interactive. You can say hello, let me know where you're from. You're very welcome to ask questions when I am in the process of sharing the full moon and the eclipse. If it's a question that's outside of what I'm talking about, though, we'll wait till the end and I will answer your questions, though, definitely. For those of you that are brand new, my name is Patty, and if you're watching this recorded, hopefully that you'll get to see some of the things that are going on, not only in your community, within yourself, but also too around the world, because these energies are not just for here in the United States. These are for all over the world, and about what's going on with you as well. So you might be able to reflect on what is happening around you through all this that's going on. So, and what I'll do is I'll go into an oracle once I get done sort of explaining some of these energies. And then I will pick one oracle for the full moon, and then I'll pick an oracle since we're in the eclipse, a lunar eclipse. I'll pull an energy card for that as well. And then I'll go into the cards and see for the collective energies what is going on for everybody. Wow. It's amazing that what this pandemic is doing, not only here, but what the planets are doing. So wherever you are from, I'm sure you're having an impact from what's going on, not only with the planets, the way that they've been aligning. We just got out of a Neptune retrograde. Now, it's the 27th when I'm live and filming this, so we're already in the process of getting these energies of the full moon. So the full moon this time from the 27th through the 30th, so the full moon is on the 30th, and then they're usually 3 days prior. And then you will probably see the full moon for 3 days. So on the 30th, and then the next 2 days after that. So you'll be able to have a beautiful glimpse of the lunar eclipse coming in. So with that get started, and like I said, if you're just coming in, you can become interactive in what's going on. You're always welcome to let me know where you're from. I love to know where my viewers are from. But we're going to get started. So we need to look at this full moon and this lunar eclipse as really a huge sort of jump. And I'm going to change this here. It's going to be like a jump in like a shift. It's going to be like we're in a process of the shifting of the ages, and we're going through a lot with government now, not here just in the United States, but everywhere around the world, because when you have Mercury in and mixed in with this, and then we've got Pluto with Capricorn coming up, those kind of things, there's a deal about secrets being exposed, that kind of a thing. So you're going to see towards the right before the 20th that there may be some things that come exposed that maybe we were thinking may be happening or may not. So, but the full moon here is opposing the sun this time, and then the eclipse is in Gemini. So with the full moon, and I'm having to read my notes on some of these things because there is so much going on. So for the full moon, things are going to be sort of like become to full awareness. So if you've been getting any of your signs, you'll be seeing that, things are really becoming to full awareness. But for the first few days in this, where the moon is still shifting, then it's actually very confusing. It's almost like fog brain because we're having an eclipse at the same time. So that makes everything really just mixed up kind of thing. But the whole idea of the full moon is, as I was saying in some of these readings, that we need to start thinking of our inner self and our inner being. Well, hello. Thank you, Anna, for coming. I appreciate it. All right. From UK. Well, welcome. So a lot of these readings, you're going to be hearing me in this last week or even this week that I've started to do the readings, that we need to be focusing in on ourselves, our personal selves, our inner selves. We need to be focusing, because what's happening if we don't do that, we have so much distraction and so much noise from the eclipse coming in that we're going to get distracted and we're going to get off course. So it's almost like the Virgo energy, where we have to sort of stay pinpointed and really fight those distractions off, because the eclipse is really throwing the full moon off. So the full moon is trying to bring awareness, trying to bring all that, but then the eclipse is like saying, nope, 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 don't want to do that. So also too, communication is going to shift. So I'm going to say things shift about the 20th, because we have a huge spiritual, huge energy shift around the 20th, and everything changes. So things begin to awaken and be able to be more aware of things. It's sort of like maybe the distractions are not so loud at that point in time, and things are just going to gradually shift, because Mercury is coming in around that time, and I'll explain in a minute. And so we're more at a higher frequency with this full moon. We're more at higher frequency energies. And what happens is when Mercury sextiles with Saturn, those things that were actually, in fact, whose reading was it I just did? They're holding back. And the thing is, everything seems to be now, okay, it's okay to go forward with it. I can't remember who I just did. Sagittarius. It's okay to move forward with it, I believe. So those are the energies that are going to start coming probably around the 6th, 7th, somewhere around there. But this full moon is beginning to give us those energies that we can move forward, but we need to start doing things in a different way, because the old ways are not going to work anymore. So the same with our communications. If you're finding trouble communicating with somebody, then we want to make sure that we're finding a new way to communicate with them, because the old way is not working. So if you've been struggling, or somebody's like, I don't get you, I don't get you, then that's what that's all about. So just remember, the first couple of days, I was telling a lot of people in the readings, especially on the 30th, around the 30th, not to make really huge decisions, because your brain is not going to be clear or muddled. It'll be sort of like, did I make the right decision? Man, I should have done that. So if you can have a backup plan, like to get out of something, then that would probably be really wise. There's also that need, again, we're still in that purging energy. So you have to sort of imagine where we're at, like in a birthing, if we're giving birth. So the baby is actually at the birth canal. It's ready to hit that birth canal. That's the energies where we're at. We're getting ready to really start to push through those labors and get through, because everything again is changing. It's I heard one astrologer explain it as, and she went back all the way back into the 1700s, that we're actually going through same patterns of history as in big things, like during Civil War time, big elements, during another pandemic. These are all happening over these years, and that's sort of what's happening right now. Again, we're going through this big upheaval. We're going through this purge. We're actually like going through a revolution is what we're going through. So everything is just changing, and everything has to do with government, has to do with law, have to do with our politics, all that kind of stuff. Things are changing, not only in the United States, but around the world. So just sort of keep that in mind. So let's see what else with the full moon. There's also, with Pluto going into Capricorn, there is sort of like a destruction, which means there's a fall of something and then an arising of something else. So like, I'm not saying that that's going to happen here. I hope it doesn't. But, like the fall of democracy and then something else taking its place. And that's what happened in the revolution in those times back in the 1700s and eons before. So those are things to look at. So the full moon is full of shifting. And this is what's going to be happening not only in December, but in January and February. We've got a big shifting. So we're moving from the beginning of the birth canal. We're getting ready to move through the birth canal. Very painful time, but on the outcome, what comes out is the baby. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. The rewards, and you forget about all those labor pains. Well, you won't forget about them, but they're not as important anymore because the rewards outweigh the pain, right? If you've had kids. So, and as mothers, we know that. Okay, so, and also anything of, and I've been saying this in a lot of my readings, that anything of the past that we have done is no longer going to work. So if you're bucking it and you're finding, well, 2020 is almost over, so we'll be through this, we can go back to normal, there's not going to be going back to normal. There is no back to what we were before. It's all going to change and be new. So if that makes sense, because we've gone through such a shift, and we're still going through that shift. So it's not going to be the same as it was before. So we have to be more flexible, and we have to see what our new journey is for that. So the full moon is sharing that with us, is that we can move forward. It's okay to move forward now. But then we get the eclipse, which this is a time where the eclipse is actually in Gemini. And Gemini is all about choices. So it's really interesting that this birth canal is all happening. And now do we make the choice to go out, or do we make the choice to go back in? I think we have to make the choice to go out. So when we make that choice to go forward, how are we going to do that? What are we going to do? This is showing up in a lot of your readings. And so a lot of the times, Gemini has to do with media, social media, anything of advertising and marketing and things like that, where we're getting the word out. So for us people that are in the normal world of just working class kind of people, we have to look at when we make a choice, when we're talking with someone at work, at home, or anything like that, but also too what we watch on the news, or what we read in the news, or even how we interact with the public on social media, Facebook or LinkedIn, or whatever you have in your country or wherever you're at. So the way that the eclipse is, it's when an eclipse comes in, especially a lunar eclipse, it is just disheveled. It's scattered. It's throwing energies all over the place. That's why I said you'll have fog brain for a couple of days. But the thing is, it's going to be also chaotic. So there's energies are going to be like wanting to fight. They're going to be wanting to say, no, I'm right. No, I'm right. No, you're not right. So there's all this. So it's how you handle that. And that's what Gemini is all about, the choice of how you're going to handle that with this eclipse. And it's going to be really, really hard and powerful. Again, we're in that birth canal, remember? So it's really hard to zip it when you really don't want to create any more havoc. Or, you see something on social media and you just start, instead of thinking, you just start typing, and then you stop yourself like, is this really that important for me to do that? That's the kind of choices you're going to have to make. It's like taking that, is this really that important at the end of the day? That's what the eclipse in Gemini is all talking about. And again, this is sort of like a revolutionary time. And then it's an evolution jump into a different way of doing things. The 20th is when everything's going to really come up with the new spiritual change, the energies of the planets and everything that are really changing. They're really shifting, because we have the retrograde. When retrogrades, they go in reverse. But when planets begin to stop and they all start to align and go the same direction, when they stop and they're getting ready to ramp up, that's when they're the most powerful. That's what's happening with this full moon and the eclipse, is they're just sort of slowing down, and it's almost like two animals getting ready to fight. They're staring at each other and they're just ready, like, okay, come on. And then it's like, boom. That's what it's like. So that's what those energies are like. So then we also have Mercury coming in. I can't remember who Mercury's posing, but Mercury's about mental. And that's why we're saying that it's going to be a little bit scattered a little bit for a while. And then Uranus is coming in, which is if you have any gifts, or if you think that you have gifts growing, you're going to start noticing things more spiritually, or things awakening a little bit more, or maybe you won't even know what to do with those awakenings. I'm always there. You can always email me. So the thing is that these awakenings are going to start to happen more and more, especially around the 20th. They're going to just bomb. They're going to explode. So you have to remember, if you're having those things, to really be gentle. Be gentle with that. Around the 17th, Saturn tries to get in and block those, by the way. So just know that if you're starting to grow those, don't get frustrated. Like, okay, now all of a sudden nothing's happening. Just be patient and give yourself some time. The energies of the eclipse are just basically going to throw us off for about a week, only because the eclipse then will pass on by. But we have to look for is, one, to be mindful when the full moon and the eclipse hit on the 30th through the third-ish. I think it's Tuesday the full moon ends, is that we just be mindful not to create more havoc in our lives, or more scattering, or making decisions, big decisions that maybe we want to retract later. So if you're going to propose, I would say wait. Might get a no if you don't. I'm just joking. Anyway, so that's where that is. So just be mindful with that. The only other thing I would say hugely is that we really want to look inward. And it's showing up in a lot of your readings, is that we want to really look inward, because the full moon is all about inward progress. And also, too, with this huge evolutionary shift, we're not going to be the same. So how are you going to do things differently to keep on your journey? How to be proactive in where you want to go, or what your passions are, what your desire is, or even your finances. I know for me, it took me a hit because I lost my job in COVID, and I had to get creative, even though I've been a business owner for many years and I dabble in what I used to do as a hobby. Now I've had to ramp that up again and really look at things and maybe put that more in the forefront, because at my age in the United States, it's a little hard, because being a business owner and being 61, it's not as easy to get a job, because they want to pay bottom dollar if they can. And also, too, the experience. So they want the younger generation so that they can be there for them to come for years to come. And that's okay. That's the way the world works. However, I have to change myself and get creative. So this is sort of what's going to be happening. What can you do? As my ex-husband used to tell me when I was struggling, we were struggling, he said, well, find a hobby that will make you money. And I was like, well, I used to do leather work, and I do saddles on down to the littlest things. And I thought, well, yeah, I could do that. And that ended up becoming a business. So you know what? These are things that we have to look at and be creative. We're going to have to be really versatile, and have to really find things that are going to work for us. Not only in work, but in our ways of speaking, in our ways of thinking, because change is hard. People do not want to change. People do not. And this eclipse is going to really do that. But the full moon is putting all those energies for the first couple of weeks into a process where, the old is not going to work. And it is catapulting you to move forward. But now with the eclipse in Gemini, you got to make a choice. And that's the hard part. That's the hard part. So let's see tell me about it. What the energies have to say. Yes, exactly. I can't make this up, guys. I really can't. This is not me. Okay, so the first oracle out for the full moon is a sad embrace, which is intense, is the 9. And sad embrace could mean a lot, whatever it is for you. But here's the thing. We've got a sad embrace. A lot of people are not happy in the United States about the political. Remember, it's about choices. It's a remember about Mercury and what planet is it Mercury in government? I completely forgot. Mercury's in government. I had brain fart. Sorry, guys. But it's in government. And so a lot of people here are sad about that. There's a lot of people that are embracing that they don't have work. They don't have finances for the holidays time. There's a lot of sadness, and it's very, very intense. And that's what the moon is saying. However, we cannot sit there and camp there because those energies are going to change. And what did I say? They're going to change about your garden, your personal growth, the way of thinking, your choices that you're making. And then you have the number 2. And the number 2 is about growth, coming together, that kind of a thing. So this is, again, the eclipse is all about making things happen in a very shifting time. Again, we're in that birth canal. You're going to have to make new choices, new ways of doing things. And how are you going to do that? You know, as we get older, we sort of get set in our ways and we like it that way. Time to change. Even my daughter will tell me, it's like, Mom, we can't do that. It's not going to be that way anymore. Or, you know, you can't think like you did way back then because that doesn't work anymore. So, you know, sometimes our young people are the ones that remind us. I go to my daughter is 25. I go to her a lot because these kids can see things and know things about technology and all that kind of stuff before I ever can. I mean, I thought I used to be really on top of it. I still build my own websites and designs for my websites and stuff, but you ask me how to maneuver around these phones and computers, I have to ask her how to do some of the buttons. You know, things are changing way too fast, way too fast. They are shifting. They're going through the birth canal. So these next couple of years are going to be really, really interesting. So when we look at the gardener, what I do share, if you have not watched any of my videos, is what are you doing to tend to your garden? It's like almost making a pros and cons list for yourself and saying, okay, am I watering it? Am I feeding it? Am I giving it the right nutrients? Am I thinking, you know, am I making sure that I'm around the right people? Am I, you know, around progressive moving people? Or am I stagnant? Am I allowing toxicity into my life? Am I allowing the weeds? Did I take the weeds out? Did I take the weeds out of the garden? You know, or am I letting the garden have a whole bunch of weeds in it? You've got the fence around the garden, and if you just let it go for a week or two, those weeds are going to creep in. That's the distractions. That's the toxicity. That's the things that get you off of your course. And that's what this is talking about. That's what the moon and eclipse is talking about. So our first card out is the Knight of Swords. Again, Knight of Swords is all about looking at truth, figuring out what is factual, not fiction, making sure that they have their ducks in a row, that they understand the process of everything. So the Knight is very, very, very articulate or understanding and knowing to stay. The only way that he's going to get to his goal is to stay on the truth and whatever that is for you. It's not somebody else's truth. It's not, you know, somebody else is giving you ideas or suggestions. It's not that at all. It's what the divine created you to be for them or him or the universe or whatever you believe in or the sacred one, whatever you call, you know, the divine. That's what you're here for. So a lot of people ask too many other people for advice when they can't even get their own crap together. Sorry. That's me. This is who I am. All right. So let's see what else the full moon is going to bring us for this first week. But again, this is all about working on self. So we do have the King or the 10 of Pentacles coming up. So there is a lot of rewards coming up. And the rewards are, I think, if you notice when you start to change and shift into this new energy, that you're no longer going to really dwell on the labor pain. You're going to start looking for the rewards. And that's going from that low vibration energy to a high vibration energy. And that's where you want to go. You don't want to camp there and just, oh my God, that labor was so bad. It's like the people complaining all the time. Oh my gosh, this 2020 is so bad. Oh my gosh. For some people, when they had loss, yes, there is a lot of pain there. But through that pain, there's growth. But the other thing too is a lot of people grumble just to grumble. And so when you do that, you keep yourself camped out in the low vibration and the low energies. And I'd like to see a beautiful garden grow from weeds that are choking it out. I would like to see a beautiful plant or whatever. Somebody show it to me that a weed is just choking the living life out of it. But you've got beautiful, beautiful rewards coming. It's everything. It's from finances to, thank you. So finances to love, to anything of your mind to make it peaceful. And they're also saying that the coming together for some of us, I don't know who this is for, but if you look behind the pentacles, there's a lot of people coming together, a lot of people around, not only with people, but the animals. It's like the earth is finally saying, hey, if you guys don't come together, then, or the planets, if you don't, so we're just going to keep going. But by the way, also, around the 20th to the 27th, watch and pay attention to the news. If there's any earthquakes, if there's any, what do you call it? Like volcanoes erupting, anything major catastrophe happening. Check in and give me a comment if that happens. Okay, so for those of you that are here and are interactive, this is interactive. So if you're feeling the energies or have a question about what we're talking about at the time, I'd love to see it. So Anna says that makes a lot of sense. As I've had a tough time, but I've got a great new opportunity and want to make the most of it. That's what you got to do. You got to lift those vibrations up. You got to lift to the joy. You've got to do something new. And again, there's a learning process. I don't know what sign you are, but which one was it? The Sagittarius, that we're all about learning here in this next week. But yeah. Okay. So for somebody or some of you out there, now remember, this may resonate with you and it may not, but we've got the Six of Swords, and I've got goosebumps for somebody. There's some travel. That's going to be happening. And that might be for work. It doesn't say it. Let's see what pulls out. I don't know if this is travel for work or if travel for moving, or could it be travel from just around the corner, maybe a moving of a house, that kind of thing. But there is some type of travel that is going to be coming up. With this travel, though, if it is long distance or if it is further, Aquarius with Libra. Oh, okay. So if this is somebody traveling and it's close by, let's see, what is this? This is going to be for the week, for the full moon. So that week, I'm trying to think, because I'm a travel agent in the daytime, really be mindful about the restrictions, even if you're going from state to state, if you're traveling from family to family, because states are changing, restrictions are changing. Have any questions, email me. Like I said, I'm a travel agent in the daytime. So be really mindful when you're traveling. If you're even going to travel up through the Christmas time or even the first of the year, be really, really mindful, really take care of yourself. Because nobody else is going to take care of you but you, to be honest. Okay, so, and this would make sense with the energies of the eclipse. So we have the next card out as the Two of Pentacles. So the Two of Pentacles, remember, there's going to be confusion at the first with the eclipse. There's going to be like a scattering. There's going to be like your energies, your vibrations, and all that kind of stuff are going to be sort of all over the place. So try to keep those honed in. Like a Virgo, you want to try to keep your focus in on your garden, on yourself, because it's going to be really to get distracted. really easy to get distracted. So try not to juggle so many things in those days with what's going on. You want to really focus in on what you need, what you want, what you desire for you, because this is about growing your journey. This is about starting to plant those seeds, because whatever you do, remember, we're eclipses in Gemini choices. Whatever we do right now is going to make a huge difference in the next couple of months. So, even little things, we're coming into the winter months. I don't know where you're at, but we're coming into the winter months, and I don't know what kind of winter this is going to be. It's sort of acting really weird here in Oregon. You're looking at 50s, 50 degrees. We're usually not this high. And then yesterday with the Macy's parade in New York, it was 61. I don't know what time. I don't even think they ever had a time where it was this warm. But now what are we going to do? All of a sudden go into chaotic, really freeze? So prepare yourself. We've got some lanterns, some candles, some food, all that kind of stuff. It's just taking care of your garden, And then also, too, on top of that, if you're prepared, maybe you can help somebody. Because this is not all about us, but right now it is. But it's somewhere down the road, we might need to help somebody else. All right, let's see what else is going on. It is moving. Yeah, it is definitely moving forward. It is definitely moving forward. And it's moving forward in a manner that people are fighting it. No, it's not. People are being, how do I say this nice? People are being ignorant. People are being really ignorant that they think the pandemic and everything that's going on is just, let's get it done. Let's get it over. It's not going to be done. It's not going to be over with. It's like this vaccine. They don't even talk about the side effects, what can be happening with it. They don't talk about, now they're talking about the airlines forcing you to take the vaccine to be able to fly. Come on. It's not over. Again, you got to be aware. You got to be really mindful of everything that's going on. Again, your garden, but keep mindful of the big garden. All right. Again, boy, a lot of money in here. A lot of career stuff. So we have the King of Pentacles, and then we have the Page of Pentacles. Okay, so another message more about your financial situation coming in the first week. Somebody with big authority, probably if you're in the United States, maybe that's a message coming in from the government about what's going on. If you're on unemployment, if you're, what they're going to do about a stimulus package, yada, 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 sort of like that. Because again, we're in that evolution of government and finances and politics and all that kind of stuff. All right. So that again is mindful. And this is a time, full moon time. This is something, if you have the means to help somebody else out, it doesn't have to be money. It could be, my daughter gave me a whole bunch of winter coats that she, won't be using. And I'm like, okay, let's find somebody who's cold. People are homeless. So, let's find somebody who's cold and give it to them. Wow. Do I have these upside down? Oh, I have them right. So I had them right. Okay, so we have the King of Swords. Again, first card out, remember, King of Swords. Looking for the truth. Don't go by don't go by the fiction. You got to be looking at the facts, looking at what is true, what is not fiction. Even if you have to do your own research. Then we have the Seven of Wands, arguing, Six of Wands, working on trying to figure out, making sure that my integrity and morals are still kept up while I'm still fighting to keep my integrity and my morals and what I believe in. That's going to be a real challenge. That's again around the first, that energy for those 3 days, that muddled energy. Could be some real touchy times. I'm going to put it that way. Thank you. Because they're like, don't say that. I'm like, okay. It's like touchy times, real touchy times. So, but the King of Swords, again, is about the truth. Okay, you get a lot of power here. And again, it is power. It's all about the governments. It's all about media. It's all about social media. It's all about communication. It's all about choice. again, I sound like I'm repeating myself, but these are key energies that you really want to be paying attention to. Yeah. So the magician. So when we're looking at the magician, we're looking at also choices. A lot of it is choices. Okay, but the thing is about the magician, I can't do this very well. About the magician is that what are we doing in choices about ourselves? So we can either juggle it. Oops, wrong one. Sorry. We can juggle it and we can make things sort of complicated and hard, or we can simplify and eliminate something and manifest what we want. So we have to eliminate something to bring in room for something else. We have to manifest it. And in order for that to happen, again, remember I said that the old way isn't going to work. So the old way isn't going to work, but the new ways are going to manifest and work. So I don't know what the old ways are for you. You know, when I'm doing life balance coaching, I used to work in chemical dependency as well. And we used to talk about how you have to remove, and even in the Bible it talks about that, but you have to remove something, but you have to replace it with something positive or something good or constructive rather than destructive to keep that pattern going, to keep that newness going. Because if you don't replace it with something, even in fitness and nutrition, that's where my degree is. So when I teach somebody, when you're going to take away sugars, what are you going to replace it with? Well, I'll replace it with fruit. Which fruit? Because fruit is sugar. So which fruit are we going to do? Those kind of things. So again, that's where we have to do that. All right. So something is ending and something is beginning, as we know. That's typical. Yeah. So first card right after that is High Priestess. And you're going to find that this is the big shift on the 20th. This is going to be a huge, huge shift. So we shift into more spiritual. Remember I said we're going to be more awakening. If you have abilities or if you have faith, that faith is going to grow. If you have faith of a mustard seed, then it's going to grow bigger. If you have abilities of like hearing, like me, I hear things, and I don't mean like, oh, I hear people. So it's like those might be enlightened or in the heightened up. That's going to happen. We have the Ace of Wands. We have the Wheel of Fortune. And then we have Judgment. Okay, so that's going to come towards I would say probably the 20th, maybe 19th, 20th. I think the U.S. is going to have a huge upheaval on those times. That's going to be a really buckle down kind of fight. It's going to be a fight. But we have the Wheel of Fortune. So this is a really good blessing here. This is something that is going to change. So if you're working on your garden per se, then I think from your own perspective, if you work yourself and your mindset to not think of so much on the earth things of circumstances, things of that bring you happiness, that's where we get these sad embraces. Because happiness is a circumstantial, happiness is external, so it's a roller coaster. So if we begin to do our internal work, that's joy. Joy is not a roller coaster because you always have joy because you're thinking more on a higher vibration, higher level, higher way of thinking. All right. So that's where that is coming in, is a higher thinking. And this is going to happen around the 20th. We have the High Priestess going to have more awakening. So that's going to happen around the 20th. You're going to have a death we die every day. But the thing is a death of an old way. And you're going to allow a new way to move forward. Remember, that's that full moon energy, bringing all that back in, all those energies for the first 2 weeks. You're going to start. It's going to allow you to begin to do things in new ways, and you'll be okay with it. All right. Let me see here. I'm going to see if I can find anything as far as love, because we haven't had anything of that. And I'm sure there's some people out there that are either wanting love or looking for love or maybe in a relationship. And let's see what there is about love. So Divine, if you could share with me anything, because I don't see anything in the full moon or the, I don't see anything in the eclipse. The only thing I could say about those energies, if you're looking at love in that way, is that you're allowed to move forward. It's allowing you to move forward. So those are things that you might be thinking about, whatever you're doing, if you have a relationship or a new relationship or something's growing. Again, thank you. It's move forward, but if there's any issue or if there's anything that needs to be done, it's not pointing fingers at, well, if you, or whatever. No, it's you, your own garden, your own way of doing things. What can you do better? What can you do better to change or make? Hey, Felix, what can you do to better the situation or the relationship, or how can you understand, or how can you articulate? So remember that if that comes in, this is about the time to change things that don't work to work. Same energy as before. We have to know that the old way is not working. All right. So when it comes to love, remember, don't look at the other person first. Look in the mirror. That's where that comes from. Hierophant. What did I say? Spirituality. This is actually the number one thing, and I'm not going to toot anybody's horn or get on any kick or anything like that, because I'm not about that. But I think that a lot of the problem with a lot of the love and a lot of the relationships is they don't go here first. Because not only is this for relationships first, this is for yourself, because we are spirit. We are. If we would listen to our intuition, we are spirit. So if we can't even get ourselves straight, how do we get a couple together straight on the same page? You know, you got one earthbound spirit and you got one spirit of spirit, and how are you going to work? How are you going to communicate when you're on different pages, actually? So it's like, and if I need to explain that a little bit more, let me know in the comments and I will. But this is, again, around the 20th. This is where it's all going. This is where it's going. So if this is showing up in the love or in the reading for love, then I think that's number one that has to be looked at. And when I when I do coaching, I ask people to look at the spirit first. Where does it root from? Why do you believe it? Because a lot of times we believe in that stuff because our parents pushed it on us, or that's the way we grew up. And so we just went along with the flow all our lives. I did for 50 years. It's like, oh, yeah. And then we lose sleep over it. Somebody's losing sleep over somebody. So somebody is not allowing the divine to work in a relationship. So they're trying to make it happen. Why isn't this working out this way? Why is he this way? Or why is she this way? Why can't I figure this out? Why do we always have to fight? Why? And that's where this is coming from, is because you're trying to push it, figure it out, manipulate it, fix it, shove it in the corner, shove it all around, not talk about it, not discuss it, and not letting the divine work on it. And the divine is not going to work on them, and they're going to work on you. So that's where it has to happen. So in a relationship, I don't know who it is, or maybe you are looking for somebody, or maybe you want somebody. It's like, why can't I find anybody? Because you're trying to find somebody. You're not letting the divine bring that person to you. Let the divine work. Let me tell you, it works a lot better. I really pick them good, but the divine, he's got it. So make sure that you do that. And you know what? Okay, so for somebody, I'm going to just share. I'm not going to go into a coaching session or anything, but worrying and losing sleep over something that you have no control over is going to get you nowhere. So when you want to try to lose sleep over somebody that you cannot even control, you have to realize that if the divine is keeping them away, they're doing it for a reason, either whether it's temporary or permanent. The divine will keep them away permanently to protect you from something that you cannot see, but the divine can see. Now, if it's temporary, they need to go away and get their lesson and either grow up or learn the lesson. And if the divine wants them to come back to you, then that's the right time. It's all about timing with the divine. We just want to rush it. We just want to rush it. We just want to make it our own. And I know what I want. Well, the divine doesn't give us what we want. The divine gives us what we need. So if I'm weak in a certain area, he brings somebody who's strong in that area. If I'm strong in an area and somebody else is weak, he brings me towards them to grow them. That's what relationships are about. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting into a coaching session. So let's see if there's anything else out here about the love. Okay, Queen of Wands. Again, communication. So this is going to be something when you meet somebody or somebody that comes into your energy, a circle, or, and by the way, I'm just sort of curious. How many of you guys out there just hug, love to hug, love to hug, love to hug? Because when you bring somebody into your energy circle, do you know what hugging a person does? You hug. Felix hugs. Do you know what it does? I'm going to give you a food for thought. This isn't with the full moon or the eclipse, but I'm going to give you some food for thought about residual energy. So I used to hug everybody, but now I'm really careful who I hug, because when we hug somebody, everybody has an energy, correct? Okay, so when we have this energy and we have an aura around us, I feel auras, I read auras, so I know it's an energy field. Just like the earth has an energy field around it, we have an energy field around it. Now think about this. Hugging is wonderful. We all need touch. But do you go and hug a stranger? Like in church, they have all the people that like to hug and stuff like that. Okay. I know my energy and where it is and where it's good. I'm an empath. So I can either absorb people's energy or I can bounce them off or whatever. But when you hug somebody, you're not only giving that person your energy, but you're taking that energy into yourself. So if you're hugging somebody with a low vibrational energy and you're hugging them for a little bit, do you think that that energy does not stay with you? Think about it. It does. Put yourself in a room full of crabby people. All of a sudden, your energy begins to lower, right? Same with hugging. So if I'm going to give somebody my good energy, my high vibrations, I want to make sure that I get filled up in return. I don't hug strangers as much as I used to, only because I don't know where their energies are. If they're really messed up, I don't need any more messing up here. But just food for thought. Just food for thought. All right. Let's see if there's any. Does anybody have any questions? Yeah, no one's hugging anybody in Germany. Yeah, no, I mean, but if you do hug, when you get to that point again, yeah, here too, nobody's really hugging either. And I used to be a big hugger, but anyway. So if anybody out there has any questions right now for the full moon or the eclipse or any of the cards, any of the energies, if you have any questions, this is a good time to do that. As I wrap up with the divine. Got a lot of kings here. There is a lot of power. Holy Toledo. King, Hierophant. This is a real, oh my gosh, thank you. So this is a real spiritual battle going on down here. Huge spiritual battle. You've got earth all over the place in kings. Kings. Where's the other one? And then you have, oh, there he is. You got kings. And then you got a queen in there. But then you've got the high priestess. Oops, sorry. And then you've got the Hierophant. And then you've got judgment and death. Surprised we didn't see the freaking devil here. We've got a huge spiritual battle here. And let me tell you, I hate to say this. We got more kings than we do spiritual. A lot more earth thinking than we do spiritual thinking. And that's prevalent in anywhere in the world almost. No hugs here either right now, but how long does it? Residual energy can last actually, depending on the person, it can actually go up to a day, sometimes 3-4 hours mostly, but it can go up to a day. I mean, it all depends. Okay, and you have to think about this too. Well, I better not go into that. I go into the paranormal again about residual energies, ghosts and spirits and stuff like that. But I'll get off. You guys will get me off. But yeah, so it could last 3-4 hours usually on the average, but it could go up to a day. Yeah, go home and wash your clothes. Why do you think that they're washing their clothes and COVID and all that kind of stuff? Residual from whatever they're doing from the COVID. You know, when you breathe or whatever, go wash your shoes, take off your clothes. Residual. Same with spirits too. There's residual energy. So if there's been somebody who's been in your home, maybe you moved into a home and there was people living there before, you'll have their residual energies because there's some of their DNA still around. That kind of stuff too. Yeah. So anyway, I could keep going on that kind of stuff but this is for the full moon and eclipse. But on this love thing though, really you have to look at each individual person, and if love is going to come your way in these next couple of weeks, or if you're going to lose somebody, let them go for a while, because the divine, if it's meant to be, they'll bring them back. If it's not, and somebody's traveling, so this could have to do with that relationship as well. Maybe they need to go away for a while. Holidays are coming. Maybe they need to go away for a while. Maybe they'll come back. Maybe they won't. If they don't, thank the divine, because then that means that something is going on that shouldn't be there, and the divine's protecting you. It hurts like HE double toothpicks. I know. Been there, done that. I mean, 2 years after my ex-husband left, I moaned and groaned and didn't see anybody, didn't do anything, just wanted him back. And then I wasted 13 years thinking about and hoping and praying he would come back. And now I know why the divine kept him away. He married twice after he left me. Married 6 times. So there's something going on there. So I thank the divine for that. So those kind of things. All right. So if nobody has any questions, I'm going to see if there's any other energies. Again, be really mindful. We've got a lot of earth and powerful energies for this next couple of weeks. Really be mindful of what's happening. We're in an evolution. We're in that birth canal. Really be mindful and watch the news, like for earthquakes, anything big. Because this is one of these times in the cycle of the earth where I think it's like every 90, 100 years, we go through this massive evolution and revolution of times and just upheaval. Like the Civil War was even, through those times here in the United States and stuff like that. So this is not a little thing. This is huge. It's shifting of the ages, as some of the astrologers call it. So hold on to your hats. And let's see what the next but these next couple of weeks are going to be really beginning to move forward, and they're also going to be really shaking up times. So really think about your garden and the fence around your garden, and keep the weeds out. Pick the weeds. Don't get out the pesticides and all the spray, because you're going to kill your beautiful flower. That's you. All right. So I really had fun, everybody. Thank you for the interaction. I hope this helped. And get out there and look at the moon. Okay. And if you have, for some of you who have crystals and cards and things like that, this is the time to get them out in the moonlight. Energize those things, get them out there. This is a really good energy time, but also too, get out there and see it for yourself. Feel those energies. Put your feet literally on the ground. Get some of that grounding. Yeah, you're welcome. But get your feet on the ground. Literally, take your shoes off, socks off. I know it's going to be cold. You can handle it for a few minutes unless you're in sub-degree weather. But and get those ions from the earth and really feel the energies of the moon. Just stand there and breathe. If you know how to deep breathe, breathe. Oh, it's an amazing feeling. Try riding horses in a full moon too. That's a lot of fun. All right, guys. I hope you guys have a very, very good week. Oh, okay. Let's see. Advice for building new work relationships. With new work relationships, you want to think of anything of a higher vibration. So if something sort of turns you sort of a little bit off or gets you like, I'm not going to, when you start getting into the I'm not going to do, or I don't feel good about this, listen to your intuition. But the other thing too is to bring everything up to a high vibration. Think of things that are going to be happy and joyful, things that are going to be, more positive towards your work. Don't be yourself for one. That fakiness person, everybody knows who that fakey person is. So just be yourself for one. But two, be that light, shine for that, because those people that are downers, you'll figure those out, and then they're going to be low vibration. Stay away from those. They'll suck you. They're called energy vampires. They will suck you dry, and then you'll be down in the pit with them. So just keep lifting high. If you have to go to a place where it makes you happy, or a song, or on your break, listen to a song, whatever it is, just to keep yourself up, and just be yourself. And I'm sure you're going to shine. You probably are an awesome person. You sound like you're an awesome person. So I think that would be the best, because you want to go in with positive, high vibrations. You don't want to go in, everybody knows we're nervous going into a new job, but just go in with high vibrations, and know that you're just going to do the best job you can. You can only do the best job in your garden. Don't worry about anybody else's garden, because they'll sabotage you if you're good anyway. So you just have to be strong. Been there, done that. I didn't sabotage. My last job, they tried to sabotage me. It didn't work. Anyway. All right, you guys. Well, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful, what is today? The 27th? Hope you guys had a good holiday, Thanksgiving, or if you celebrated the harvest. I don't believe in Thanksgiving, just because if you knew the real history of it, it's a very horrible, horrible day. A lot of slaughter from our indigenous people. But I do give thanksgiving to the divine. But I do that every day. So I hope you guys had a wonderful, wonderful time. So enjoy the week, and if I haven't done your reading yet, it's coming probably tomorrow or the next day. So I've been doing the readings between Wednesday and Saturday. I've just been running late. I'm trying to work on my leather stuff for my website. I'm trying to put a new store up on my website, so I've gotten behind a little bit. So hang tight with me, guys, and spread the word. Share, like, and subscribe. I appreciate it. All right. Good seeing you, Felix. Hope you guys are doing okay. All right. Take care and love all you guys. Thanks for coming.